What is going on, everybody? Pretender here, back with another Honkai Star Rail guide, and I'm here with the full build guide for the standard character Clara. To this day, Clara is still a really strong character, especially for a standard character, and a Clara that is built properly can still practically clear every single bit of endgame. And so today in this video, I'm going to be running you over her kit and Eidolons, then taking you over her best Lightcones, followed by that will be best Relics and Ornaments, and then the stat recommendations for the main stats and some substats you want to look out for. This is an updated guide as of December 2024. This is leading into 2025, so for 2025 watchers, this is still your updated guide that you will know, so you will be learning what is optimal. That's all I want to say before I get to the video. If you guys find this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, be sure to like the video. It'd be greatly appreciated. If you're new or haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of Star Rail content. Check the description to join the Discord and also to sub to the second channel. And let's get straight into the video. So Clara is a physical character following the path of destruction. Her basic attack deals physical damage equal to 100% of Clara's attack to a single enemy. Her skill deals physical damage equal to 120% of Clara's attack to all enemies, and additionally deals physical damage equal to 120% of Clara's attack to enemies marked by a Sub-Rock with a mark of counter. All marks of counter will be removed after the skill is used. Ultimate. After Clara uses ultimate, damage dealt to her is reduced by an extra 25%, and she has a greatly increased chances of being attacked by enemies for 2 turns. In addition, Sub-Rock's counter is enhanced. When an ally is attacked, Sub-Rock immediately launches a counter, and its damage multiplier against the enemy increases by 160%. Enemies adjusting to it take 50% of the damage dealt to the primary target enemy. Enhanced counters can be used up to 2 times. For talent, under the protection of Sub-Rock, damage taken by Clara when hit by enemies is reduced by 10%. Sub-Rock will mark enemies who attack Clara with this mark of counter and retaliate with a counter dealing physical damage equal to 160% of Clara's attack. The technique immediately attacks the enemy. Upon entering battle, the chance Clara will be attacked by enemies increases for 2 turns. For bonus traces, for A2, when attacked, this unit has a 35% fixed chance to dispel 1 debuff placed on them. A4 increases the chance to resist crowd control debuffs by 35%, and our A6 increases damage dealt by Sub-Rock's counter by 30%. Now looking at the Eidolons, for E1, using skill will not remove marks of counter on the enemy. E2, after the ultimate is used, attack increases by 30% for 2 turns. E4, after Clara is hit, the damage taken by Clara is reduced by 30%. This effect lasts until the start of her next turn. And our E6, after other allies are attacked, Sub-Rock has a 50% fixed chance to trigger a counter on the attacker and mark them with a mark of counter. When using ultimate, the number of enhanced counters increases by 1. Taking a look at the best Lightcones for Clara, the best one is actually going to be Yunli's signature Lightcone, as it greatly increases the wearer's chance of getting attacked and increases crit damage by 36%. After the wearer uses ultimate, receives a stack of Fire Dance lasting for 2 turns, and each stack of Fire Dance increases the damage dealt by the wearer's follow-up attack by 36%. Now you have a form of taunt that is outside of just her ultimate. You already get some from using the technique, but this Lightcone will further give you some more taunts, so letting you get hit more will let you retaliate with counters more. On top of that, increases crit damage, which Clara is going to want a lot of. And also using your ultimate will increase follow-up damage, and the Sub-Rock counters are indeed considered a follow-up attack, so the damage increase to follow-up attacks will apply here. Everything this Lightcone is providing you is going to be exceptionally good, especially the greatly increasing attack chances, since getting hit is going to be very important even outside of the ultimate, because the more you get hit, the more you're able to charge ult, the more you charge ult, the more you can have uptime on the ultimate. Crit damage increase is very big, and then the follow-up damage increase is also very nice. This is the best Lightcone you can use on Clara. Another great option is the free-to-play Herder Shop Lightcone, which when the wearer attacks, increases their attack by 8% in this battle, which also counts when you are doing the Sub-Rock counters. This effect stacks up to 4 times, and when you do weakest break an enemy, increases damage dealt by 12% for 2 turns. And then at S5, the stacking becomes 16% and the damage dealt becomes 24%. Breaking with Clara can be relatively easy, so you can get the second part off. Only issue is breaking enemies have some form of negative synergy, since if enemies are broken, they can't attack you, and if they can't attack you, they're not going to have Clara counter. So a bit of anti-synergy there, but you're still able to make use of it on other enemies that are not broken yet. And even then, if you do stack up the first part, it's giving you a bunch of attack. 64% attack increase is very good, and as Clara is your generic DPS with crit rate, crit damage, attack, this is going to be a really nice increase to that as well, which makes this a fantastic Lightcone option you can use. Another good option is actually Danheng's signature Lightcone, which increases the wearer's crit rate by 18%. When the wearer uses basic attack, they will gain a stack of Dragon Call lasting for 2 turns. Each stack of Dragon Call increases the wearer's attack by 18% and energy regeneration rate by 6% and stacks up to 2 times. This will need you to weave some basic attacks in. You still can use the skill, but you will still need to weave the basic attack in, which unfortunately will result in less energy since you're attacking less enemies. But as this one actually does give you energy regeneration rate, that can sort of offset that. And on top of that, the attack you're getting is going to be very, very nice, and you're also getting a really nice crit rate increase. So if you're able to weave the attacks in and have a decent, at least one, at minimum 1 stack of Dragon's Call in, this Lightcone is actually pretty effective to use on Clara, making it a overall really good option as well. Another good option is Blade's signature Lightcone, which increases the wearer's crit rate by 18% and increases their max HP by 18%. When the wearer is attacked or consumes their own HP, their damage increases by 24% and is removed after the wearer uses an attack. So as the whole playstyle is getting Clara hits so Sub can retaliate with the counter, this is really easy to just have this damage boost always active to actually apply. On top of that, the crit rate increase is nice. The max HP is also something you shouldn't overlook, as you will be wanting to be attacked, so this can still benefit helping some survivability, as Clara does not actually have a self-sustain in her kit, so the extra max HP can help you tank a little more hits. So that's something you shouldn't overlook, but mainly for the fact that it gives you a nice damage increase and also 80% crit rate, Blade's Lightcone is another good option. Another good option is the standard Clara Lightcone you can get from the standard banner or standard pull, which increases the wearer's attack by 24%. When the wearer defeats an enemy or is hit, immediately restores HP equal to 8% of the wearer's attack. At the same time, the wearer's damage is increased by 24% at the start of their next turn and cannot stack and can only trigger one time per turn. So a nice little attack buff, which is going to be nice. And on top of that, this does actually give you some form of self-sustainability. It's not the biggest, but since Clara is going to want a good amount of attack, this can actually help you and add up a lot. So it's still a good thing to have. And then the damage boost is really easy to get and also keep it up, so this Lightcone is another good option you can use. Another good option is the Under the Blue Sky Lightcone, which increases the wearer's attack by 16%, and when the wearer defeats an enemy, increases the wearer's crit rate by 12% for 3 turns, and an S5 is 32% of an attack increase and a 24% crit rate increase. So overall, really nice attack increase that you get, especially at S5, and if you do have an S5 when you do defeat an enemy, which with Clara is going to be easy, especially with enemies on the side, you're going to get a crit rate increase that actually beats out the options you have at 5-star options that are at S1. So Danheng's Lightcone, Blade's Lightcone, this is a higher crit rate increase you will get, which is extremely good. And more crit rate is going to be very beneficial as you want Clara to crit. So overall, a very simple yet very effective Lightcone you can use. And then another option is a Secret Bow, which increases damage dealt by the wearer by 20%. And the wearer deals an extra 20% of damage to enemies whose HP percentage is equal to or higher than the wearer's current HP percentage. And at S5, both of those values become 40. So first off, you get a 40% damage dealt increase for free, which is really nice. And if you are able to have the second part, that becomes 80%, which is going to increase this Lightcone performance. It is another nice option you can use, especially if you don't have any other options. Any other option I did list, you want to definitely look out for those first, as they will be better than this Lightcone overall. But if you don't have any other options, this is still a fine option you can use. Overall, a good Lightcone you can use. For the best relic options for Clara, the best one overall you can do is 4-piece of the physical set, which is 2-piece increases physical damage by 10%, and the 4-piece, after the wearer attacks or is hit, gains a 5% attack increase for the rest of the battle and stacks up 5 times. Really easy to set this up, even if Clara is going to be built slow, which for the most part she will be, since she's going to constantly be countering, and that's going to give you a stack. Easy to stack this up really quickly, and then you have a free 25% attack increase for the rest of the battle, which is really good. Very simple and very powerful option you can use, and is overall the best one you can use. Another option you can use is the 4-piece of the max HP set, which is 2-piece increases max HP by 12%, which is kind of a waste of a full 2-piece, since max HP is nice to have as a survivability such as the Blade Lightcone, but you still want other benefits. But it's mainly for the 4-piece, which when the wearer is hit or has their HP consumed by an ally or themselves, they gain an 8% crit rate increase for 2 turns and stacks up 2 times, so practically a 16% increase to crit rate. Once again, the whole playstyle is to have Clara hit, retaliate with the counter, and that's obviously going to count to being hit, so it's really easy to get a free 16% crit rate for the battle, and constantly at that. So this set is overall just a nice increase to max HP for survivability, but once again, 2-piece is kind of like, you can ignore this, it's mainly for the 4-piece. 16% crit rate for the battle is going to be really easy, and especially eases some requirements you would want on the substats. Overall, a good option you can use as well. And then anything past those 4 pieces is quite literally just combining 2-piece. So taking 2-piece of the physical set, not the max HP set, I would not recommend doing the 2-piece for this, as I mentioned, it was mainly for the 4-piece. 2-piece physical set, and combining it with like 2-piece of the follow-up set, which increases follow-up damage by 20%. So nice little damage increase to the Silver Rock counters there. You could also opt to do 2-piece of one of those two, and also doing 2-piece of an attack percent set, so 2-piece of the dot set as it increases attack. Same thing applies to the wind soaring set, also applies to musketeers, and so on. And then another option is doing 2 pieces of one of the ones mentioned, so 2-piece attack, 2-piece physical, and doing 2-piece of the scholar set, as the 2-piece does give you a 8% increase to crit rate. So just a nice little 8% crit rate increase there you could get, making it another good 2-piece candidate as well. Overall, you definitely just want to go ahead and get a 4-piece physical set, as it's going to be the best one, or just use the 4-piece of the set right here so you can get more crit damage rolls on your relics. But if you don't have any of those 4 pieces, you can combine 2-piece of the physical set or one of the attack percent sets, or do 2-piece of one of those two and then do 2-piece scholar. For the Planar ornaments, the best one is going to be the Durin set, because when an ally uses a follow-up attack, and be sure to note this also counts themselves, so Clara launching a counter can actually stack up herself, gains a stack of merit, stacking up to 5 times. Each stack of merit increases follow-up attack damage by 5%, and when you have 5 stacks, you get a 25% increase to crit damage. So giving you a nice damage increase up to 25% of her own follow-up damage. And if you have anyone else that's doing follow-up attack on the team, it's going to stack it up faster, but as Clara as a counter unit can stack it up pretty fast on her own. And then you get a 25% increase to crit damage, and both of these are always up pretty much, since once you do get the full 5 stacks of the follow-up attack damage, you get 25% follow-up attack damage increase, and then on top of that you get the 25% crit damage. So having 25% increase to both is going to be really nice, which puts this as the best set you can use when it is fully stacked. But if you don't want to go ahead and stack that, or you just have really good pieces, you can also just opt to use Inner Salsado, which gives you an 8% crit rate increase, and when you have 50% or higher crit rate, you get a 15% increase to damage for ultimate and follow-up attack damage. Unfortunately, Clara does not deal ult damage. The ultimate enhanced follow-up attacks do not deal ultimate damage, but she will be doing the follow-up attack damage, so it's mainly for that and also the extra crit rate, and is also a very easy requirement since you will want more than 50 crit rate on your Clara. Overall, just a really nice crit rate increase, and also a really nice increase to follow-up damage, making this the next set you can use after Durin if you don't have Durin pieces, or you don't want to use Durin since you don't want to stack it up and you just want to use Salsado since it's just free buffs right away, or you just have really good Salsado pieces sitting around, then Salsado is a really good option as well. Unfortunately, those are the two only options I would recommend. You could also technically use Rudel in Arena, as it gives you an 8% increase of crit rate as well. When you have 70% or higher crit rate, the damage up by basic attack and skill increases by 20%. Her main damage is going to be coming from the follow-up attack. That's why I 100% recommend Durin at the most, and after that would be Inner Salsado. I definitely recommend just farming one of those two, but you still can use this if you want to opt to having a bigger increase of skill and basic attack damage. If you're using the Dawning Lightcone, you get the basic attack damage increase, so that's going to be workable. And if you are going to be using the skill, which for the most part you will be using skill almost always, especially if you do have the E1. Without the E1, then it's a little more tough to use the skill, so you can still get a damage increase with this, and it is still a viable option and overall still good. But I would 99.9% recommend just farming a Durin set or a Salsado over using Rudel in Arena. But if you have Rudel in Arena pieces and you're farming for Salsado or Durin, then you can use it in the meantime. But once again, I 99.9% recommend just farming Durin or Inner Salsado instead, and just use that on her instead. For the main stats on the relics, for the body, you want a crit rate or crit damage corresponding to which one you need more. For the feet, you want attack percent. For the orb, you want physical damage. And for the link rope, you want attack percent. As for the substats, it's really just your generic DPS stuff, so if you need more crit rate, you're going to look out for crit rate rolls. If your crit damage is lower, you're going to look out for more crit damage rolls. Just aiming for your regular 1-2 ratio is going to be fine, but you do want to note you want to have a more crit rate, since Clara is going to be getting off a lot of attacks when you do use her. So you want to have around 80% crit rate is going to be recommended, so you can crit most of the hits, since if you miss a crit, it's going to be a lot less damage. There's no point in having high crit damage if you have low crit rate. So definitely make sure you focus on crit rate mainly, but then you also want to have a good amount of crit damage so your crits are not just completely just little brushes. So focusing on crit rate and crit damage, and then past that is attack percent, and that's really all you gotta focus on. Once again, crit rate, crit damage, and then attack percent. Reason you don't want speed is because Clara is very slow and main damage comes off from being hit and countering, so you really have no need to use speed on there. Another role you could look out for when it comes to your substats is some HP rolls, so you have more HP to survive if you're not using a shielder, or some effect rest so you get CC'd less. She has ways to deal with those, but you still want to get CC'd less overall so you can get more counters, and since if you're CC'd, you can't counter, and that's going to be a big bad thing. So once again, crit rate, crit damage, and attack percent is the main ones you want to focus on, and anything past that is just a bit of survivability. Some HP rolls will be welcomed, and effect res is going to be good so you get CC'd less. Yep, that is the full build guide for Clara. Once again, if you guys found the video helpful in any way, shape, or form, dropping a like would be greatly appreciated. If you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for future videos like this, along with all other types of style content. If you know anyone that may need a Clara guide, be sure to send them this video as it may help them. Yep, once again, hope you guys found the video helpful. Peace out.